Like and subscribe! So the main idea of this video is to use math to figure out whether Fortnite or Minecraft would win in a fight. So what I decided to use as a metric was the pickaxe in both games because they're both wood bodies and there's an iron head to them, right? So, I decided to make that the basis of damage equivalency, basically meaning that 1 Minecraft damage equals 5 Fortnite damage, right? This is going well. Okay. I'm gonna type this one up. There. You see? Alright. That didn't work. You can still see it. Just pretend it's there, okay? Just pretend it's there. Right? So, this means that, for example, 1 damage over here is equivalent to 5 damage over here, and I'm going to be using the Fortnite as my base calculations, basically so I have to multiply instead of divide, because I'd rather multiply instead of divide. So, first let's go over the Fortnite side of things, because that's going to be far easier to explain, because we don't need to explain conversions there, since it's our basis. So, I decided to use a specific set of items for this side, right? Because Fortnite has far less inventory than Minecraft, and Minecraft seems a bit more obvious, but Fortnite, there's not as many things. So the first weapon is the pumpkin launcher, right? This is a beautiful rendition. I'm an artist. I swear I can draw better than this, but not in this video, right? So here we've got the pumpkin launcher. Okay, gonna give it a little stub too. So the pumpkin launcher deals 130 damage per shot, right? Some of these are going to be in DPS, but this can only fire once per thing. So 130, right? DPS makes sense. All right, so we got 130 DPS for this, right? It is probably one of the most powerful. Well, not DPS, just damage, right? Just damage. This is pure damage, but it's essentially damage per second, right? And, it's a very powerful thing. It can destroy builds very easily. This is great for, a fight between these two. And explosives, I figured we definitely need an explosive in this fight because, it does explode things. It causes damage, right? Then next, I decide, well, since, Minecraft is probably going to be able to, Fortnite's main thing is the guns, right? Minecraft doesn't have the guns, right? So Fortnite's main advantage here is having, by the way, I'm sick in this video if you couldn't tell, but Fortnite's main advantage is speed in the amount it can attack per second, right? So I decided to use Gunner's Striker SMG, which is probably the best SMG in the game, probably one of the best guns, period, in the game. And so, I'm just gonna, there, it's nice and gold. It looks like a piston, alright. But, so this does 264 per second, right? Right, so per second it does a lot more than this, although this is a massive, range. This has far less range than this, coverage, I guess, once it hits, right? This would be more like a shotgun, if anything. Right, so then next, speaking of shotguns, two-shot shotgun. Shotguns are very important in Fortnite. Originally I was going to use the scythe, but I decided against it because, melee, I thought, oh, that would be fairly useful in a 1v1 fight. No, actually, because, it doesn't attack fast enough to deal with Minecraft's melee damage, which is far faster in almost every category, not to mention the shield covers that far easier than it covers any other weapon we've listed, right? So I decided to replace it with the two-shot shotgun. This does a lot, right? I decided to do two calculations for this. Technically, because the DPS and damage are different here, but I feel like both could apply. So 118. No, hold on. Yeah, no. Okay, 111.8 damage per second, and then it's 144 damage, right? I think damage is more applicable here. I don't know if the damage accounts for both shots or if it's just per singular shot. But regardless, it's not going to change the results too much here. Believe me, and we'll explain that later on. So next, I decided we need something maneuverable, right? Something that really gets, because Fortnite has a lot of things that allow you to move quickly that are items, right? And I feel like the only other gun we could use is a sniper, but I feel like that doesn't work as well against Minecraft regardless, right? So I decided to use the grapple glove just because the web shooter is probably the best maneuverable thing in the game, and this is just a brand new web shooter. This doesn't have very much damage per second because it's not a damaging weapon, but you understand the point here, right? It's 30 of these. to use to get around, and it actually works very well with the Fortnite playstyle of cranking 90s and building up really high. It allows you to swing around it and do lots of trick shots and stuff, right? Then I decided we needed a sort of healing weapon, right? And so I decided to do chili chug splashes, right? Now, granted, you may be thinking, those of you who have played or do play Fortnite may be thinking, well, okay, why the chili chug splashes of all things, right? Well, first of all, they only heal 20 per splash, right? But unlike the other healing items, the chug splashes allow you to get that healing instantly rather than having to sit there for half an hour chugging, right? So the speed of it is very important, because if you're sitting still for too long, Minecraft's going to come up there, Steve's going to kill you, right? So it's very important, the speed. Secondly, it does give you speed, right? It is the only healing item that does that, so it has a second purpose. Also, the chili chug splashes can get rid of fire, and Steve most definitely is going to have something that lights fire, so this is very important. For example, if fire bow light you on fire, this is a very good solution, because it'll heal the HP back, plus it'll stop the fire from doing any more damage. And also the fact that it is barely lower, while most do 50, that was terrible writing. This heals 20 per use, plus the chili chug. Well, plus the chili, right? That's my representation of chilies, right? And the speed is 1.4 times as fast. That gets the point across for a single minute. And, so it has 3 different uses just for this item. It is unbelievably useful, right? So we've got the attacking, the maneuverability, and the healing. All of these, I feel like this is a very good loadout for just Fortnite in general, right? So I'm going to block this off so that we don't, right? So the Minecraft loadout is fairly obvious. Full netherite gear, golden apples. The thing with Fortnite is I had to figure out a thing, because in Minecraft you can have basically everything you need for combat. This is Steve prepared for combat, right? So there's some building blocks, every maxed out enchanted weapon. But you see, right? The big important thing here is I knew that Fortnite's advantage would be that it can deal out far more damage than Steve can. But I knew Minecraft's main plus would be armor, because though you can get little shields, you can get double HP, right? Even if you factor in the overshield, which I will be doing for these calculations, right? So we got the overshield. I'm gonna do a little diagram here of the HP, right? So we got the shield, the overshield, and then we got the normal HP, right there. There we go, right? That's Fortnite HP. So this is all cool and dandy, right? But you don't really have much more protection than that. And, right, if you do the math here, right, so this would be 250 HP, right, total in Fortnite. And if you convert the Minecraft HP over, right, you multiply each heart, because each heart is technically 2, so that's 20 Minecraft HP. You multiply that over, that is 100 HP. And then if you include the absorption hearts you get from a golden apple, that is 120 HP, right, which is not... It is not more, right? But Minecraft has the advantageous thing of armor and enchantments, which allow this number to basically, like, triple, quadruple, because of how little damage you will actually be taking to this number, right? Because every hit from this will deal, like a lot of damage to this number, while meanwhile, one hit from here probably won't do as much damage to this number. So, right, we need to figure out, okay, the calculations of the armor, right? So, we've got our netherite gear, we got our pants, and our boots, right? We got our gear. Right, we also got shields and stuff, right? But first, we're going to go over the armor. So, I decided to go through the perspective of, since I'm allowing Fortnite to do anything in the creative menu, right? Anything is still in the game, right? In the creative menu. I decided to make it so that Minecraft is the kind of Steve that's been in survival since the very beginning of the game, right? So, okay. So, is there anything advantageous to that? Yes, because in 1.14, I believe, there was a glitch with enchantments that allowed you to get armor that had every single type of protection on it. And when you do this, it gives you 25 in every type of protection except for feather falling, except on the boots, right? Because of feather falling adds its own sort of thing, which is 38, right? I'm really drawing numbers good, right? So this is 25 all total, and the boots have 38, right? Because they have extra. Now, what does this mean? Well, because basically, in Minecraft, there is a total amount of, like, armor stuff, right? And I'm not going to bore you with it here. Basically, this supersedes that number. So it is essentially 100% damage reduction, Minecraft-wise. Now, basically, it's not technically 100%. You will, if you're attacked by enough stuff at once, it won't be 100, right? If you're in a massive pool of TNT, and it all explodes, like an infinite world-size explosion, you're going to take some damage. It'll destroy the armor, right? Whatever, regardless of unbreaking. But it's essentially that, right? So I decided to make it so that all Fortnite damage is 99% reduced, right? Even though, realistically speaking, Steve might not take any damage from this. I decided to give Fortnite the benefit of the doubt here. This is a lot of protection on armor. Right, mind you, this is netherite, so none of this is knocking Steve back in the slightest, even the explosion. So, on top of this, we have the shield, right? Meaning that Fortnite can only attack half of the time. So, realistically, right, you divide all these by 99, right? That's a lot less, right? The pumpkin launcher does 1.31 hearts of damage, well, 1.31 HP, right? Not doing much damage to this number. The SMG is doing 2.66 right hearts per second, and then this in the damage per second category is doing 1.13 hearts, or the damage total is doing 1.45 hearts a hit. Now, that is not very much. But then, right, we didn't even factor in the shield yet. The shield would essentially, the strategy for Minecraft would be shield and then attack with the sword specifically. Because in Minecraft player PvP, between players, the axe is actually beneficial because it helps destroy the shield and stuff, and also because it just deals more damage. The sword is actually going to be beneficial here because it does, yes, it does less damage than the axe, but it takes less time to recharge. So it would be block, hit, over and over, basically meaning that all of the damage I just listed for this in half, right? So it does, like, not even half of an HP every hit. Mind you, we're doing this in Fortnite logic, right? So we're not doing it in hearts. So it does, like, 0.5 per hit. Now, 250. So, okay, we gotta figure out. Now, we figured out that it takes a lot of this to kill this, right? That is a lot of reduction. But now we gotta figure out, okay, well, the sword here, how much damage does the sword do, right? Because that's our main thing here, right? So, a netherite sword, unenchanted, does 8 damage in Minecraft, right? And then it goes up to 11 damage, right? For reference, the axe does 10 to 13, right? But you see, the sword here takes less time to recharge. Now, granted, I think the axe may change the results here, right? A little bit, but it's not enough to factor it into this video, right? So, the sword here. Okay, so, what does this mean for the battle? Well, okay, right? Block, hit, until 250 is gone. Now, we have to divide 250 by 11, correct? That is correct, right? So this means that it'll take 23-ish hits. It's not a perfect number, but about 23 hits, right? It'll take 23 hits because, scaling up, right? It'll take 23 hits to kill, Mr. Fortnite Man here. Now, that's not factoring in healing, but roughly speaking, this will be a thing, and then we can factor in healing later, right? So it takes 23 hits from this, and I also will do that for the axe too, right? So we take 250 and divide that by 13, and then, so that's about 20, right? So it doesn't really matter, right? Unless it comes down to the wire. But again, this does take longer to reload than the sword, right? So, and then, right, so, okay. So it takes 23 hits from this to kill. Well, okay, now we gotta figure out, it takes 23 hits to kill this guy, but how many hits of this does it take to kill this guy, right? And so, we could figure this out per weapon, but first, I think it's better that we find the overall amount of damage input, and I will be including both things for the shotgun. And so we gotta find the overall of damage here, and then we can use that to figure, divide it by 99, then, divide it by 2, and then we can find how much damage it'll do, and then divide 120 by that, right? So the average amount of damage of all of them is 541 damage, right? That's great, but then you got to divide that by 99, so really impacting the number, and then you got to divide that by 2 because it only does damage about half the time, right? So that's 2.7. I'm going to round it up to 3 to give a little more credence to Fortnite here because you might be able to tell it's not looking very good for them, right? So we got to divide 120 by 3. Now, so that means it'll take about 40, let's say seconds, 40 seconds, right? For this, but then, oh, right, we remember, it only hits half the time, right? So 40 technically becomes 80 seconds. Now, factoring math in here, it'll take about double the time for Minecraft to get in, but even then, right, because it has to reheal, because we have to double both of these numbers, right? So 40, I'm even going to return it, right? So we have to double both of these numbers, right? So we know 80 here, and then 80 is against 46, right? So, end of conclusion, Minecraft wins by not as slim of a margin as some would expect. I came into this definitely thinking, oh, Fortnite deals so much damage, but then I actually remembered how much the armor and enchantments and everything really impacts this, right? That's not counting the fire damage or the healing at all for either of them, but also, we gotta factor that in now, right? That's like the post-video thing, right? So, Minecraft has more healing, right? We're giving Minecraft max. That means we have at least a stack of golden apples, let alone god apples, right? Either or, those are far better healers than this because they give you regeneration, meaning it's continuous rather than instant. It's not as instant, but it also is continuous, right? Which it is also far faster than any of those non-instant things in Fortnite. So regardless of this, the golden apple is beating out any healing here, right? Now maneuverability, yes, okay. Fortnite can crank 90s and build up and stuff, right? But then that's actually a damper, right? The way I'm focusing this on a 1v1, no building or anything from either of them, is because, Fortnite builds up, gets all jagged, right? Oh, I'm in the air, haha, you can't beat me. You see, Steve has this little thing called an enchanted pickaxe. And then we crash this, right? We hit it for like 3 seconds, right? Because the enchanted pickaxe is about to instantly destroy it. And oh, it goes toppling down, and then you're dead. Pool of blood dripping all over my math, right? So, as you can see here, I basically just proved that Minecraft wins. Now, granted, I did this based on Java. Bedrock works pretty differently, and it works more like an old version, but with newer items. Maybe in the future, if this does well, I will do a video based on the Java versus Bedrock. Although, granted, I think that Bedrock would actually do better against Fortnite than Java. I said Bedrock, right? First thing. Bedrock would probably do better than Java because Bedrock can hit after hit with no recoil, so it won't even need the shield. It'll take less than 23 seconds, because if you can click, right, the average clicks per second is 6 clicks per second, right? It takes 23 clicks, right, to get rid of Fortnite. So, end of the story. Minecraft wins, large margin, like and subscribe, etc., etc. And so, yeah. Professor out.
Like and subscribe.